What is going on, guys? It is TSL back in another video, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than the usual content I put on this channel. I'm going to be doing a ranking video with the 3 assault rifles from the 3 factions in Splitgate 2, which is the Tempo, the Synapse, and the Trailblazer. Now we are going to be ranking them in 3 categories, which will be the time to kill, the damage, and last but not least, design. Now, of course, this is my humble opinion, and if you agree or disagree, or if you think I should do more of these in the future, definitely comment down below. I would love to see what y'all say. Now, as always, if you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you are new. Now, let's get into it. Now, coming in number 3, we have the Tempo. I'm sorry to all the Aeros lovers. I love the Tempo as well, but in my opinion, the Tempo just doesn't match up to the other 2 overall. But don't get twisted, this doesn't make the Tempo bad whatsoever. It actually has some really solid strong points, and of course a few weaknesses too, but that's every gun, to be honest. But first, let's talk about the design. Now, it's a little bit on the slimmer side for a design, and honestly reminds me of the VMP SMG from Black Ops 3. So I actually really like it, and I would give it a solid 7 out of 10 for design. Now, let's get into the stats. The Tempo has the slowest time to kill out of the 3 at about 1.08 seconds, and it fires 8 shots per second. So, and also has the second most ammo overall, with 105 rounds max and 35 in the magazine, without extended mag, of course. Which is honestly pretty nice. But damage-wise, it does about 14 to 16 to the body and 18 to 20 to the head. So you're looking at around 5 to 7 body shots or 4 to 5 headshots to secure a kill. But it's decent, but this is exactly where it falls behind the other 2. Because even though it fires fast, it just doesn't dish out enough damage per bullet to win those close range duels reliably. But one thing I do want to mention is the recoil and handling. The Tempo has a pretty manageable recoil pattern. It's a little vertical, but it's predictable once you learn it. If you're newer to the game, it's actually a really good weapon to practice with because it rewards you for learning that pattern and landing consistent headshots. So, it's definitely not a spray and pray rifle, but with a bit of discipline, it can be really effective. So the playstyle wise, I think the Tempo really shines in mid-range engagement. If you're holding on an angle or pre-aiming down a lane, it can do work, but it's not the gun you want to rush into a close quarters fight with, especially against something like the Trailblazer or Synapse, which just has way more summon power up close. So, overall, I am ranking it number 3, but that's just because the competition is so much stronger. It's still a great assault rifle that can absolutely put in the work, but let me know in the comments if you agree or if you think I'm sleeping on the Tempo. That brings us to our number 2 pick, the Trailblazer. Now, I know, guys, the Trailblazer is goated. Trust me, I really had to think hard about this ranking because I was so close to putting it in the number 1 spot. But there's just one thing it doesn't quite have over the Synapse, and that is the fire rate. But before we get into the stats, let's talk about the design. So I really love this one. It honestly feels like a perfect mix of the FAL and the AK-47 from Call of Duty. Specifically, like, it has that Black Ops 1 vibe. So I'm going to give the design a solid 8 out of 10. Alright, now on to more important matters, which is the stats. So, first off, the time to kill on this thing is absolutely insane. It's by far the fastest of the 3, at a whopping 0.93 seconds. So that's honestly disgusting if you're hitting your shots. But here's the trade-off. It only fires 7 shots per second. That's its biggest weakness right there. So you can't really rely on sheer volume to win those close range fights. So you've got to hit your shots consistently. So now let's talk about the ammo real quick. It actually has the lowest ammo capacity of the 3 with a max of 90 rounds total. and 30 in the magazine without extended mag, of course. So you have to be a little bit more conservative with your ammo. But anyways, let's stop dogging on the Trailblazer and start lazing it a little bit. So for the damage, this thing hits like a truck. Body shots are in the 18 to 20 range. And headshots? A ridiculous 24 to 28. So out of all the 3 ARs, the Trailblazer wins 100% in damage. So if you're accurate, you're going to delete people. So that takes about 6 to 7 body shots and 4 to 5 headshots. Another thing I want to mention is the recoil and handling. It's a bit heavier than the other two. You can feel that kick, but it's not unmanageable. I'd say it has more of that classic AK style recoil, so it rewards you for learning the pattern. If you can keep it under control, you'll absolutely melt people. But you can't just hold down the trigger and spray. This one demands a bit more discipline. So I also think the Trailblazer is best suited for mid to long range fights. Up close, you can outgun people, but you have to land those shots. You can't just rely on the fire rate bailing you out. So personally, I've had some crazy clutch moments with the Trailblazer, but I've also lost a few fights thinking I could spray my way out of it and just getting out traded. So it's a gun that really rewards precision and smart positioning. So compared to the Synapse, you're giving up that faster fire rate and ease of use, but you're getting that raw power in return. So if you're a confident aimer and you want to delete people with fewer shots, the Trailblazer is your go-to, 100%. So overall, I'm putting it at number 2 because while it hits like a beast, you do have to work for it a little bit more. It's not quite as forgiving as the Synapse. If you miss those first few shots, it's over. But make no mistake, it's still an S tier choice of a gun. So let me know in the comments if you guys think it deserves the number 1 spot or if you'd rank it differently. Now, that brings us to our number 1 spot. Guys, hands down for me, it's the Synapse. Even though it lacks a bit in raw damage compared to something like the Trailblazer, the fire rate absolutely makes up for it in every way. It's just so reliable in almost any fight. But before we dive into all the stats, we need to start out with the design, because this one is actually my favorite out of the 3. It seriously gives off like major Titanfall or Apex Legend vibes, and I genuinely feel like you could drop this right into those games and it would fit perfectly. So I'm giving the design a solid 9 out of 10. But that's enough of the design. Let's talk about what really makes this thing number 1, the stats. So for time to kill, it's the second fastest overall at a 1.06 seconds, which is already super competitive. But where it really shines is the fire rate. A whopping 10 shots per second. That is insane. It's basically just lets you melt people if you're on target. So on top of that, the Synapse has the most ammo of the 3 ARs. So it has 120 total rounds and 40 in a single magazine without any extended mag. So it honestly feels more like an SMG than an assault rifle at times. I mean, you can just keep shooting, which is perfect for those like chaotic close range fights. So now let's talk about the damage. It does 12 to 14 to the body and 16 to 18 to the head. So you're looking at around like 8 to 10 body shots or 6 to 7 headshots to get the kill. Yeah, it's a little weaker on the raw damage compared to the Trailblazer, but with that insane fire rate, it evens out super well. Honestly, the damage feels more than enough once you get used to shooting it. But one thing I really like about the Synapse is how forgiving it is. If you miss a couple shots, you've got 10 more coming in a second. It's the kind of gun that really rewards aggressive players who want to push and keep up the pressure. But the recoil wise, it's not bad at all. It definitely climbs if you're just holding down the trigger mindlessly, but it's very manageable once you get the feel for it. I also think the Synapse is the most versatile AR in the game. Close range absolutely shreds. Mid-range still really solid thanks to the fire rate. Even long range, you can make it work if you control the recoil. It's just the kind of gun you can pick up and trust in basically any situation. So compared to the Trailblazer, you trade raw damage for ease of use and consistency. The Trailblazer hits harder, sure, but it punishes you way more if you miss. With the Synapse, you have a lot more room for error, and compared to the tempo The Synapse just feels way more lethal overall. With that fast fire rate and big mag size, letting you stay in fights longer. So overall, that's why it's my number one pick. It's not the hardest hitting gun in the lineup, but it's the most consistent and the most forgiving, which to me makes it the best choice for most players. Anyways, guys, that wraps it up for my ranking video. I really do hope you enjoyed. This took a lot of time to put together, but honestly, it was so much fun. So let me down in the comments what you think and what your favorite AR is, and if you want to see more ranking videos like this. So definitely let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. God bless and peace.